in that what is revealed, that's after the third secret, we come again. Our Lady comes again to the essential thing when she says, at the end, my Immaculate Heart will triumph. So you have, as you say, Father, you have the Pope, he comes all the time, but you have also Immaculate Heart, Immaculate Heart, Immaculate Heart, Immaculate Heart, who comes at time. So, and now you see, the whole of the great secret of the Fatima is very clearly the secrets of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, who has been sent, given to us as the power to overcome all evil in the latter times, the dragon and his beasts, whether the attacks of the devil to get my soul into hell, or the attacks of the beasts of the devil who will establish in the world a false, a wrong ideology, which is communism, which is materialism, atheism, whether it's this question, the faith. Now, the question of the faith is exactly the third secret. And when we go now further and ask what has ever been said about the third secret since 1941, you can imagine that everybody will ask Sister Fruzi about this third secret. What's about? I cannot say, I cannot tell, I cannot tell, I cannot tell, I cannot tell. Now you see, but Sister Lucy, she says maybe not what is the third secret in words, but she starts to speak after 1943, when she has received this vision of the third secret. She speaks about a new theme. She brings a new matter into the whole Fatima thing, which had not been before. And this is what the crisis of the faith. The crisis of the faith, the people who lose the faith, who attack especially the rosary and so on. So we can be sure that the true message of the third secret that we do not know has to do with the crisis of the faith, which is the worst what can happen to somebody in this world.
Yes. Well, that's so we're saying here that the third secret of there's not really a third secret, one secret that's revealed successively. And even Our Lady in May gave a catechism on the first part, and in June a catechism leading to the second part, and then in July she really elaborates on the second part, the first, second, and third parts, and gives the whole thing. So it's really a one whole cohesive and logical secret. So we just can't take part; we have to take the whole thing.
Yep.
And that's really regarding the salvation of souls in the first moment, and then the political, somehow the political side in the second, the spreading of errors throughout the world, and then the coming of peace through the Immaculate Heart of Mary. And in the third, we're left hanging, but we're left with clear parameters to show this thing is dealing with the faith.
Yeah.
And how does this connect with the Pope?
Well, the question of the faith is, first of all, that Our Lady, she gives to Sister Lucy the order that the Pope is a central personality in Fatima. That's for sure. Because all the revelations, all that we already know about the second secret, when we speak with the Pope, we have to start with the second secret, because if not, we'll not understand why suddenly the Pope is involved. It is because in the second secret, Our Lady asked very much and clearly that this consecration of Russia has not to be done, first of all, by a faithful, but by the Pope. And the Pope, in a way which is...
So we're speaking about the Pope and how important it is, and so many Catholics, they're going to derive especially here, they know, if you're with the Pope, you're Catholic, and if you're not with the Pope, you're not Catholic. So here's Our Lady is guiding us towards the Pope and her message to the Pope. It's of great importance for us, and certainly for our MIs in the Church today. But how do you see this third secret in connection, or this whole secret in connection with the Pope today?
Yeah. So it is this second part of the secret which introduces, in fact, the personality of the Pope, and it is absolute importance, because, in fact, when Our Lady asks to establish the devotion to Immaculate Heart, a devotion, a worldwide devotion, she says, in the world, can establish only by the Pope. No bishop can do that, no lay people can do that, but the Pope be. So there she already states the importance of the Pope, even not speaking about that. Then, in the second part, she really comes to a very, very concrete, explanation and a request that this time the Pope will have obligation. She asks the Pope, she will ask the Pope together with all the bishops to accomplish this consecration of Russia, and promises the conversion, which is absolutely, we cannot, I work in Russia, I can't even imagine how this could happen. These people do not want to become Catholic at all. But Our Lady accomplished the miracle of the sun in Fatima, and nobody could believe that such a thing can happen. So she can also convert a country as she converted Mexico and South America. So there is not a problem for Our Lady, but she promises this. But under the condition that the Pope will do that. But then she continues, certainly because she has foreseen clear that there will be the problem, and though, so then if these requests will not be heeded, then who will suffer the most? The Pope. She explains in the second part of the secret the immense sufferings of the Pope, that the Pope will have to suffer a lot. We have afterwards the famous visions of little Jacinta. Our Sister Lucy, in her memory about Jacinta, she reveals us, she relates these visions, and these visions are all linked to the Pope. And so in this moment for Jacinta, besides her desire to save souls through the Immaculate Heart of Mary, her great concern will be always the Holy Father, the Holy Father, the Holy Father, because she's very impressed by this drastic vision that the Pope must be in a terrible situation, despised, in awful difficulties. And therefore she has such a pity on him. We must pray very much for the Holy Father. It comes all the time in the life of little Jacinta. So here the Pope is really groundly introduced in the very mystery of Fatima. And if now the Pope will not do this, Our Lady will say afterwards, they will do it once, but it will be late. It will be very, very late. And she announces the catastrophes, the calamities which will fall on the Pope, because he will be reluctant to do this. That's Our Lady's announcement. Now, after this, we come to the third secret. Now, the third secret begins with the word, in Portugal we conserve the dogma of the faith. Now, who in the world is responsible for the dogma of the faith if it's not the Pope? It's clear that on the Pope depends how the Church is living, what the Church is doing. And this is clear that in this moment we have to deal with the famous third secret, which has to do, well, we have not the words of it, but which must have to do with the hierarchy of the Church, with the leaders of the Church, with the overcoming of the most terrible calamity. Now, if there is a crisis of faith which undermines the supernatural life of the faithful, well, there is absolutely only one solution to eliminate that, because the Catholic Church is built on the rock. The Pope can re-establish this. The Pope can do this. So it's very logic that the Pope will have a special role, an outstanding and a most important role in this question of Fatima and of the salvation of the world through the Immaculate Heart of Mary. But now let us come to this third secret. If you say, of course, if we speak about the Pope, Our Lady in Fatima, even that what we have seen, it is clear that here Our Lady announces somehow, even in the revealed part, that the Pope somehow will not do what she wants. And now the Pope will be punished. The Pope will be punished. She says herself, the Pope will have much to suffer, and the drastic visions of Jacinta shows it, how what will be the effects or the result of a Pope who at least sometime will not be faithful, will not do what Our Lady in Fatima requests. So here we have already the case that the Pope is not just to be here and do something, but if the Pope doesn't do something, then he is responsible for absolute terrible calamities. So this is already in the revealed part. So what will be the non-revealed part? Here we have to come back to the question of what we know about the third secret. So the first we have many different things, but what I have to make a summary, that she spoke to outstanding theologians, she spoke to cardinals, to bishops, and if we gather all these messages together, we have quite an interesting, let me say, message where we can already go into the direction this must be somehow linked with the third secret, because it's nowhere else written in Fatima. So if Our Lady, if Sister Lucy speaks about these things, and she is only the voice of Our Lady, and doesn't speak about her own visions, she speaks only in her name, and explains to the people who ask her what Our Lady wants, and then she speaks about the crisis in the church. Now where in the world is the crisis in the church in the Fatima message? From the beginning to the end, nowhere. It's only in the third secret. In this very word, in Portugal will be conserved the dogma of the faith. Well, in Portugal will be conserved, but what does that mean afterwards? And in other parts of the world? So we ask ourselves. So, of course, it's not only in the 20th century, at the end of the 20th century, that this question had been put before our sister Lucy. So our Lord, she answers to very different people, and she speaks to them that this is the time coming which is much worse. So she speaks about the loss of the faith. She speaks about that Our Lady will not be considered by the people anymore. She speaks about the situation when the rosary will be despised. She has the letters we know from her, which have happily been published in order to promote, in fact, the devotion to the rosary. These were letters written in the late 60s, beginning the 70s. So this is in a moment when the third secret should have been revealed since a long time and have not. And in this moment, Sister Lucy always speaks about the diabolical wave which overflows the world, and where the people will lose the faith, will lose the love of God. All these words have been said to her, and then afterwards confirmed by Cardinal Ratzinger, who says very clearly that the third secret, they have to speak about it because false third secrets had been let me say put into the publicity. One in 1981, and then the cardinal, the bishops, Cardinal Ratzinger, the bishop from Fatima, makes statements. Is the third secret really linked with the Third World War, nuclear wars, the missile S-22 and something things? He said, no, not at all. It is much worse. The loss of the faith of a continent is much worse than all these calamities of a war. Oh, that he was saying. And so Cardinal Ratzinger confirms that it is really speaking about the religious situation and a religious catastrophe which is in the world. So in this way we have witnesses who are not just fantasists, they are people